What's
Hello,
up?
and welcome to the third episode of the Millennial Monologues podcast, where we talk about anything and everything related to the millennial lifestyle. We are your hostesses with the mostesses. My name is Alyssa.
And my name is Lexi. Thank you guys for tuning in. So today we have a very special guest. Her name is Jess, and she's an artist from Portland, Oregon. So
That's right.
give you a welcoming hand.
Thanks, guys.
Very nice to have you. Thank you.
Her name is Jess.
Her
My name is Jess.
She said that in the opening. We were dying laughing.
It was really funny.
My
That was
name's
good. So we teased last episode that there's a very unique characteristic about her that makes her a very unique artist. And so we will get to that eventually. But first, let's just talk about how you got into painting in the first place. How did you first realize you wanted to become an artist?
Oh my gosh, it hit me so late. My mom was the kind of mom that she just threw me into everything, hoping that some sort of sport or artistic activity would fit me. So I went through about 100 activities before I decided on painting.
She was just like, I want you to be talented, but I don't know what I want you to be talented
yeah.
at.
At one point, I honestly kind of stopped. I was like, you know what, this is fine. Let's just stick with this one. I like it. And
Yeah.
I'm done choosing things to do. I'm just going to pick one.
I just started studying it, and when I was 6, and I just loved it from then on.
So what is your medium? Like what kind of art do you do?
I do oil painting,
Gotcha.
which takes
Oil
forever to dry, but it's my favorite. It's like,
Okay.
yeah, it's
Right.
fun.
So
Very nice, very
there's
nice.
there's something, you know, a little off about her paintings, would you say?
Not off. There's nothing off about them. That was rude.
Well,
No,
something
it's
a
a
little
lot.
something
A
a little off about you.
Right. So, Jess, why don't you tell us why we think it's so interesting that you do art?
So I am black, white, and grayscale colorblind.
Ooh.
It's so
Plot twist.
It's a twist.
It is a twist. So you've got a rare form of color blindness. Is that the proper
Yeah.
word for it? But very rare form. So most people who are colorblind can still see like some sort of like hues and tints of certain colors. Like maybe their purples, blues, and reds just get kind of mixed up and, you know, so on and so forth. But yours is different. So tell us what the difference is between the most common form of colorblindness and then yours.
Yeah, so I guess about 90% of people, it's not exact, that have colorblindness have red-green colorblindness. So they get a lot of their reds and greens mixed up, which your boyfriend Ryan has
Right.
that.
Right.
And a lot of guys I know have that because guys also are more likely to be colorblind. But less than 1% have monochromy, which is what you call like the black and white kind. And I just basically just see grayscale. And
That's so
just
crazy.
Pretty much.
So
what
you
I do.
see 50 Shades of Grey, basically.
Yeah, my whole life is like
I
80
hate
shades of
her.
gray.
I hate her. So you only see the color gray, pretty much, is what the doctors tell you.
Pretty much. And there's some colors that are like brighter than I've been told that I'm more attracted to reds and burgundies, even though I
Okay.
can't really point those out really at all. So yeah, it's interesting.
So when it comes to your painting, you don't see the colors. So how do you know whenever you're like doing the sky and things like that? How did you figure that out in the very beginning when you first started?
Yeah, so I didn't know from the time I was 6 to like 13 that I was colorblind, and my art teacher Oksana just thought I was being really insubordinate.
Wait, what? You didn't know till you were 13?
Oh no, it was really sad.
Okay, tell us about that. How did you, like, so in second grade when they're like, this is red, you're like, what the hell?
I was like, y'all are, I don't know what's happening.
It's all the same. Like, what do you mean? So how did you even pass, like, kindergarten?
real
No
talk.
offense.
You don't
No,
even know.
seriously.
Yeah, you do.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
really didn't have any idea, and I literally thought I was mentally handicapped or retarded when I was a child.
Oh, my God.
And I would spend, when I first got my laptop, I was really excited because I would go up to my room and literally look up all these kinds of disabilities that people had, thinking that I had
oh
one
my
of them.
God.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, and
Wow.
I literally thought I was retarded because people would be around me and they'd say, "Oh, that's orange, that's red," and I'd be like, "I have no idea what that means." And there was this book specifically that I remember really got to me as a child, and it was just all these squares on every page, and every square was the exact same thing, but under it would say orange and red, and I was like, "What? Like,
Oh my God.
like what is that?"
What?
So how did you finally decide to go to the doctor and say, okay, something is wrong with me?
Still haven't been to the doctor about it.
Oh, okay.
But you
so,
went,
so
went
then
to
how
like
did
the
you find out?
the eye doctor.
Yeah,
How'd
so
you
my
finally
art
find out?
teacher, when I was about 13, 14, came up to me and she was like, "Jess, you know, you have so much potential And I really feel like you could be a great artist, but you keep messing around and you're not taking this seriously enough. And I broke down crying and I said, you know what, Oksana, I really am trying my best. I'm not trying to mess anything up. And she said, well, you need to start getting your colors right. And I literally broke down crying and I said, I don't know what that means. Like, what are colors? Like, people say, like, red, orange. Like, what does that mean? And so then she picked up a sweater and she was like, what color is this? And I was like, I don't know. You all are crazy.
So you thought everyone was crazy because you just had no idea what anything was.
Either everyone else was crazy or I was. I didn't know that being colorblind was a thing, which is funny because most of the men in my family are. It was just never talked about because women aren't usually colorblind.
Okay, so I was going to ask that. So is that something that is like inherited down to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how did you find out eventually? Was it that conversation with your teacher that finally made you realize, like, or at least made your teacher realize and maybe contact your parents? Like, how did that work?
Yeah, after we had that long talk, it was really overwhelming and great. And every time I had art class with her after that, we would study color theory, which is how I mix my paint colors and basically how I live my life based off of like primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. Like memorizing all of those and knowing how to mix paints basically did that for me. And I went home that night and I talked to my dad about it, and he just said, I just didn't know girls could be colorblind. He never talked to me about it.
Wow.
So when you started
That's
painting
so
and using that medium, and you were painting with all those shades, did you understand that they were colors, or did you just think that you were just,
I thought I was just
and-
mixing stuff to make it lighter or darker.
like different
okay, that makes
shades
more
together.
sense, yeah.
Okay.
So just lighter and darker.
And your teacher just thought you were just messing around
She
all the
thought
time.
I was being really rude and disrespectful, and my parents were paying really good money for these art
Aw.
classes,
Oh,
so she
wow.
thought I was wasting their time as well.
Yeah.
But I really actually enjoyed it and was just trying my best.
Wow.
Aw, that's so sad. Like, oh my gosh, you probably like getting in trouble and stuff. Like, oh my gosh.
I really did. But then after we started studying color theory, which memorizing all of that took about 5 or 6 years, and I still don't get it right all the time.
So can you define what color theory is for us, because I have no
Right.
idea what that means, but also for people who don't know, like, watching?
Yeah, for sure. So color theory is basically memorizing what your primary and secondary and tertiary colors, like, easy way to break it down, your jewel tones go with jewel tones, like darker raspberries and navy blues go together. You can mix those together, and you can't mix them with pastels, which are more like close to primary colors. And just kind of sticking to your color wheels is what it is. And it took forever for me to figure out how to mix color after that. And I could make the most beautiful sunset orange with 13 different colors, but I will never be able to see it.
Oh my gosh,
That is so
that's
incredible.
insane. So that's so incredible that you have decided to go for such a hobby that would, I mean, to me, that requires for you to see the colors. No, obviously not. I mean, you're proving a lot of people wrong. So
I
good
think
for you.
the easy way out for a lot of people is, oh, I'm really good at painting because like I can just see it and I can do it. But for her, it's a lot more than just talent. You really had to like learn it and study it and realize what these colors are, what they mean, and put it together. And that's honestly,
people
like,
take advantage of being able to see colors. I definitely have. I mean,
Yeah.
I already feel like guilty for not being thankful for that my whole life, just having this 5-minute conversation so far. So, I mean, that's crazy. So, how did you react when you finally figured out, like, okay, I'm colorblind? I feel like there would be like a sense of relief a little bit.
There
right?
was a sense of relief for me knowing that I wasn't literally retarded. And I don't say that as like insulting slang.
Right, yeah.
And you know, when you're a kid and you grow up and you don't want to be different from anybody else at all. And so the thought of being retarded for me as a child was debilitating. And for me just to know that there was a term that described what I was going through and that I wasn't actually crazy, and to talk to my dad and my grandpa about it too was really, really nice.
I think it was probably just more of the sense that you wanted to find out what your disability was.
Yes.
It's more of
Right.
like,
I
if
knew I
something
had
is
one.
wrong with me and I need to figure it out. It's not so much that I could, it's okay if you are, but it's like,
Yeah, there's
hey,
nothing
I just at
wrong.
least need to be
I just wanna
diagnosed what
know.
is
I
wrong.
really
Yeah.
wanted to know.
Because I can't even imagine being at school and people are like, oh my God, look at my pink shirt. And you're like, what is everyone talking
Yes,
about?
hello,
What's up,
St.
pink?
Patrick's
What is
Day?
What is a
St.
pink?
Patrick's Day?
You're
Oh,
always
yeah. You're like, I'm matching everyone. You were in like, blue.
Skipped school every year.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I mean, and also that's a hard age to find something like that
Yeah.
out about yourself too, because you're already hormonal. Am I right? You're already like, I hate everything and everyone, and you're just like, God. I think that Ricky has a question for you, actually. What's up, Rick?
So I'm sitting here with engineer Jess because I'm watching her learn. I've seen a lot of videos recently on YouTube and Facebook where they're showing kids getting glasses to help with colorblindness. Is that something you you've had the option to do? And is there different aspects of colorblindness that works for some people and not others? I'm just really curious about that.
Yeah, so they have 4 different types of colorblind goggles, which are super cool, and I wish they worked for me. I've tried them all, but since I have pretty much the rarest form of colorblindness, they don't really cater to that because there's no money to be made in it. They'd probably sell 1 pair to me, and that's it.
Oh my
That's
God.
Such a good point.
So if you were
It's
given
so
the
rare
option,
that what's the point to even have that as part of a business?
right?
Yeah.
But what I'm
Wow.
wondering is, if you were given the option to wear those glasses all the time, let's say they made them and they were very expensive, but you could wear them all the time, would you want to do that?
No.
You wouldn't want to see color?
I don't think so.
Really?
I think it's when I was younger,
That's
I
amazing.
definitely would have said yes.
Yeah.
But it's something that I've learned to really love about myself, and it gives me a way different perspective than most people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like so I think I honestly see clearer, and I understand color on a deeper level than most people because
Absolutely.
I've taken color theory.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny to say that I understand it on that kind of level.
Yeah.
But
No,
I
you
do.
absolutely
But
do, because
yeah.
I personally have never thought about colors being anything than what they are. You know, I don't know, like, what color means what. You know, I think that, like, yellow means happiness and stuff like that. Like, there's so
Right.
many different, like, theories about, like, what colors mean and, like, who's attracted to what kinds of colors. You said earlier that you are attracted to more, like, reds and burgundies. So can you explain why that is?
I really wish
You
I
don't
could.
know? Okay.
It's interesting because I think I'm more attracted to tertiary or like darker colors because they're easier for me to see than lighter colors.
Gotcha.
And reds, for some reason, I'm always attracted to, even though I can't identify them as red. I think they're just brighter on the grayscale than everything else to me.
Mm-hmm.
My first car was actually red. I'm about 90% sure.
Someone told you it was.
Yeah, somebody told me it was. And my mom would always say, well, Jess, you got to be careful because cops pull over red cars more. And I was like, I don't really know what that, why would you do that?
Okay,
I
so
still don't
speaking
really
of driving, how do you drive? Because don't you have to see, like, the
You
red,
act
yellow,
like she's
green?
blind.
No, but you have to see the color. I mean, I guess, like, the light. Like, is that how
Yeah,
you
red's
do it?
on the left, green is on the right.
Okay, that's a good point. Yep.
Is
okay.
that in every city, every town?
Except for this one city in New York where it's up and down, and the up and down is like red on the top, green on the bottom. But
Yeah.
there's one city in New York
Oh.
that's green on the top, and I would probably get a lot of tickets there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
or in a
tips
car.
Or on a lot of wrecks?
Yeah.
I would. And sometimes it's harder for me to see at night, which is why I don't tend to drive at night. So I'll find like a buddy on the road that I can go behind, and hopefully they're not drunk because I'm just going to follow whatever they
Oh,
do.
God. That would be, yeah, okay. Well,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
That's crazy. Okay, so basic everyday stuff, getting dressed, matching your outfits. How do you even match your clothes?
So other than this, I was told not to wear green. So I was
Yeah.
like, anything other than green, I asked my friends, this is burnt orange. I know that.
Okay, good job.
We felt bad because Alyssa was like, we're in front of a green screen. We need to tell her not to wear green, but how do we do that
Yeah,
without
I was
being
like,
mean?
oh,
You
dude.
can't offend me at
Can
all.
you just tell your parents to like tell
Makeup
your
is-
roommate something like don't wear green, any form of green? Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, how do you pick out your clothes? Does someone help you with that? Or
I tend to go shopping with certain people that I can trust to like not mess around with me. And I'll pick out more tans and grays to wear most of the time.
Mhm.
And makeup is pretty much the hardest thing in the world for me because I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
match my foundation shade, so I don't really wear foundation. I can't really wear
Oh.
lipstick usually. I stick to my one eyeshadow look that I can pretty much do.
And it looks good.
yeah,
I've
you're lucky.
mastered it, that
Yeah,
one.
you're lucky
Neutral
you don't need a
tones.
whole lot of makeup because some of us, you know, Lord, I look like a different person without it. I would
wrong.
yeah,
Completely
okay.
wrong.
So
Anyway.
when it comes to your like painting style, if you saw color, do you think your complete style would change?
Yeah, 100%. I think that I tend to stick with a lot of darker colors when maybe it's more appropriate to use lighter colors.
Mhm.
And in my earlier work, you can see things look a lot more bold than maybe they should. Like this is that's a
Oh.
pretty recent one that they're showing, so I've muted a lot of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just insane to me that you know like what colors like match and like how. I mean, because that looks so good.
Thank
Like,
you.
so good.
Take a lot of pride in that.
I mean, I can't even draw a damn stick figure, let alone like a beautiful masterpiece like that.
Oh,
I mean,
that one specifically was
Ugh.
really hard because it's mostly just tans and browns, and I have
Yeah.
more trouble seeing that. So
oh
that's
my
like
gosh, that's so
I
The
was
shadows look so realistic.
the shadows
though.
look
Thank
realistic.
you.
Yeah, I like the like the frame. Like it's like you're in one of those like archways. It's brilliant. Yeah, it's
thank you
beautiful.
so much.
Has your art ever been featured anywhere? Like, do you sell it? How do you like what do you do with it? You just keep it?
No, it's just a hobby, so I'll give it away to family and friends.
Oh.
Like that's one of the reasons I couldn't track down a lot of it to show y'all is
Mhm.
because my sister has 2 pieces, my aunt has 3 pieces. They're just all over everywhere. It's just a hobby.
Yeah.
And that one that they're showing is about 12 feet long. You
Oh
can't really
my
tell.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
It is really long. And I've been told that I overused red a lot in that one.
No, I don't think so. It looks great.
There is
Thank
red,
you.
but it goes really well.
I just like it. That's what I like. And I've kind of learned to incorporate my style of color with everyone else's because I do want to add extra red and all those extra kind of jewel tones because it just makes me happy.
That one
Yeah.
is 12 feet long.
Yeah, that's super long.
How long
Wow.
did that take you to do that?
And it's about, I'd say 6 feet tall. Like they're about the size of me, each one. And it took a solid 6 months because oil takes forever to dry.
6 months to dry?
Yeah, so you have to do like one part, wait for it to dry completely because oil paint is very temperamental. You can't really paint over it, so it takes
Right.
a very long time.
Wow.
Oh my god.
That is insane. Okay, so that's another angle of it. The
Yeah.
house in it looks really great too. So
Thank you. You can't really tell from here, but there's like little balconies on them too.
Like
on the
details
below
and
the-
stuff
yeah.
like that.
wow.
The fact that you do not sell those is ridiculous because I
Yeah.
would buy that. That would be going in my study. That is.
too.
Oh
I
my
love the
gosh.
red.
Well,
Thank
seriously, have you
you.
ever?
And the
have
fact
you
that
ever
it's
thought about
painted
it?
by someone that can't see the color just automatically ups that.
Oh, yeah.
Ups the.
100%. That would make me
whatever
want to
it's
buy
called.
it just
Wow.
because.
Thanks,
yeah.
y'all.
I mean, I really think. Have you ever thought about selling them or?
Not even. I don't know. It just
Really?
never crossed my mind.
Alright.
I just
has
graduated
now.
nursing
I think a lot of
school.
our viewers would probably buy some of your paintings.
I think
know
so.
I would.
I definitely would. So,
Yeah.
cool. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about what you're studying. So you went to nursing school, right?
Yeah, I just graduated last week.
Great. Good for you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
awesome. You have taken a color theory class before, right?
Very
Is that-
unofficially, just my art teacher,
Oh, okay.
Oksana, and I went over it. So I would go to art class, and then I would stay like 2 hours late, and
Mm-hmm.
we would just go over like primary colors. And it took me a full year just to memorize like the names of the colors and how to associate them with like feelings. You have to think about how colors make people feel. So like
Yeah.
a sunset orange might make somebody feel really relaxed, whereas a bright intense orange is going to make somebody feel stressed out, and that took forever for me to
Oh
learn.
my
Oh, I
God.
bet. Yeah. I really can't even wrap my mind around having to try to understand something like that because, again, I've taken it for granted for so long, like my whole life. That's just crazy.
It kind of reminds me of like learning about facial expressions without knowing what they mean. Like
yeah, like body
looking-
language and stuff like that.
Right, like looking
yeah.
at someone's like angry face and being like, okay, that's anger. I need to remember that looks like anger, but you don't
But
understand
you learn it
what
as
it
so
means.
young. Like she didn't even know until she was 13. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy. 13. Like you
That
already
is
know
tough.
so much at 13. I feel like.
Right. Do you feel like you're missing out on anything that like the everyday people kind of we take for granted for colors, but you feel like that you have a disadvantage?
I do feel like in family board games and BuzzFeed quizzes, I am at a distinct disadvantage. But with everything else, I kind of just, I'm happy with the way I can see, and I think I have a unique perspective on everything, and I would not change it for the world now that I'm older and can appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
It's amazing how thankful you are for something like that. I mean, that's so.
Because it
that's
sounds
really admirable.
awful, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, you said it. You know, no, I'm just kidding.
No, it
really,
does. It does.
In the
I just
very
haven't ever thought
beginning-
about it,
In
to
the
be
very
honest.
beginning, though, were you really like depressed and sad about it, and then you learned to overcome it, or has it always been something that you've been proud of and you've been able to deal with it?
After I was 13 and identified what it was, I was proud of it,
Oh,
for
okay.
sure. Before that, I was embarrassed of it. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if I had a brain tumor. Like, everything went through my head, and I don't
Yeah.
know what I was searching in Google to not be getting colorblindness come up, because I feel like that should have been, like, the first thing.
Yeah.
If I searched, like, I don't understand color, that probably would have come up, but I didn't do that because I was 10.
Oh.
But
So what did you research? Like symptoms of mental illnesses.
What
Like,
is
did
red?
you- yeah. What is red?
I
No,
never
what-
looked up anything, like, pertaining to color, which is, like,
Oh.
weird.
Oh, that's
What did
that
the
is
what
weird.
did the words mean to you? Like, what does like red mean? Like when you would hear it, like prior to finding out.
It was like reading a dictionary in a different language, basically. Like, I'd see red, but I'm just like, nothing, that doesn't mean anything to me. I'm just,
Yeah.
it's a word. It's like a made up word that somebody just said to me.
That's
Yeah.
a really good way to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
A dictionary, like in a different language. Yeah, you just see a word, you have no idea what it means.
And I never cared to try and understand it because it wasn't easy for me. So I would just sit there and be like, oh, well, that's red. Somebody's saying red. I'm tuning them out.
What's so crazy is like you can't describe color. It's impossible to
Yeah.
to tell someone like red is this or blue is water, but it's like you know.
Yeah,
so
okay,
so
it's all the same
that's
to
what
me.
makes it even more confusing. Is like if you try to explain color, you don't know what that is.
I
Oh,
use
yeah, absolutely
emotion
not.
to describe it for sure. Like,
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about that. What color is what emotion? Can you like teach us something?
and it might be different than what y'all think of it as. I think of
Oh.
them in terms of like relaxing colors that I can put into paintings because that's all I really
Oh.
care about. So
Right.
like yellows, light blues, pastels are really relaxing to people,
Yeah.
and certain deep colors are really relaxing to people as well. Like dark blue is more relaxing than maroon because that's like the color of blood, and that's what that reminds people of.
Okay.
So that's what I have to think of in terms of relaxation, and that's what I try to put into most of my paintings these days is things that are going to relax people.
Wow,
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
like that.
That's so interesting. Again, I've never even thought about what colors could possibly mean. Really, I just, it's just that's just red, that's just green. It's just whatever. I haven't ever thought about what they could mean and what they mean to me. But now that I think about it, those colors do calm me down.
They mean a lot. That's why fast food places use yellow and red to kind of bring you in because those are colors
Shout out
that
McDonald's.
they're colors that are scientifically
Wendy's.
proven to make you hungry.
They are?
Yeah. Color theory is everywhere.
Wow.
What?
Okay, tell us more stuff about that. What else? How else are they getting us?
I've heard lavender makes you tired.
Yeah, that's why a lot of ER nurses, I'm going to be a nurse. I guess I am a nurse. So we base our scrub colors off of what we're doing. ER nurses can wear lavender in the hospital I'm working because it relaxes people.
Oh,
and
wow.
the ER is not somewhere that people usually relax. White makes people want to leave a place, which is why kitchens are never usually fully white. And doctors' offices are white because you want to get in and out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
How do you think this coincides with your job? Like being able to see like different things and like I know one time you told me about when people get really pale, you can't tell.
Yeah, so being a nurse, a big part of that is assessing people. So I've come up with my own certain ways to kind of assess somebody without being like, oh, you're flushed, you're red. So I have to look at, oh, they're sweating, so they must be flushed. Or I'm trying to think of like not gross assessments that I can say.
Tell
That's
us.
okay, just tell
Like
us.
usually
Tell
you're
us.
looking at somebody's urine if they have like a catheter, and I have to be like, okay, that's cloudy in terms of infection and stuff like that, instead of just seeing like, oh, that's brown, that's an infection.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mhm.
That's so interesting. So, and to be honest with you, you can think of it as like a sense. So, like, for people who are just blind, they rely on smell, and then
Right.
vice versa and whatever else. So it's kind of
You
similar
kind of
to that.
rely
You
on
just-
like emotion of color.
The emotion is a big deal for me, and I
Wow.
incorporate what I wear to relax people in the hospital as well. Like on my floor that I'm going to be working on, we can choose between navy blue and light pink, and navy blue relaxes people more, so those are the scrubs that I bought.
Okay.
I'm guessing you took somebody with you to buy those.
I did. Because, this is the other thing. I can't ever go shopping by myself because retail workers think I'm just messing with them. If I'm like, hey, I need a blue shirt, and
You're like,
she's
"Help
like,
me out with
okay,
that?"
they're
Yeah.
over there.
All the blues
in
over
the
there.
blue section,
She's like,
obviously.
Dummy.
Like, I genuinely don't know where that is. Can you
Yeah.
just grab one for me that looks cute? That'd be great.
Specifically, this one time, my boyfriend and I went into a Sephora because I was trying to buy a red lipstick for my friend Taylor, and I knew that a blue undertoned red lipstick would look best on her skin type and her skin tone from what I saw. And so I was like, okay, Bo, what's a blue undertone lipstick that's red? And he's like, they're all red. And I was like, how do you not
Yeah,
see
you can
that?
ask a boy about like different shades of lipstick.
Just like
He's like, they're all red to me. I don't know. I
He's like,
swear.
they're just red. There's no blue.
oh my god.
I was like, that's real helpful.
What if he just had picked out a blue lipstick, thinking like, well, you said blue? Would your friend have like been like, why would I? First of all, why would your friend send a colorblind person to buy her a red
Right.
lipstick?
She
That's
didn't
what I'm
ask
wondering.
for it.
Oh, it
I'm
was
just
like a
Oh,
gift.
okay, like
I'm just extra.
okay. I was about to say.
Wait,
that's
so what
just
about
rude.
blood? I know a lot of people are afraid of blood or they don't like looking at blood because it's kind of gross and like the color like freaks them out.
Yeah.
But for you, I feel like maybe it wouldn't freak you out too much.
No, it doesn't freak me out at all. And I think with all my nursing school stuff that I've done out clinically, I think just the sight of blood anyways wouldn't freak me out.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like nurses are kind of trained to have blood not freak them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair enough. Yeah, I would. If my nurse started freaking out if I started bleeding, I'd be like, please stop.
Can I
Please
get
stop.
transferred somewhere
You're
else?
here to help me, and you're making it worse. Like you're
That's
making it
literally
worse.
me as a nurse.
Oh yeah.
We're trained to be so calm. You could start bleeding. I'd be like, okay, let's patch that up.
Oh my God. My grandma was a nurse and she tried to get me to do it. And I was like, I swear I can't. I won't and I can't. That's like the last thing. So props to you for everything that
Thank
you're
you.
doing ever.
Thank you.
Okay. You're doing I feel like you're so like level headed and so like thankful and grateful. Like, do you think that this I don't even know what to call it. Condition, I guess.
It's a disability.
Do you think that you being colorblind has made you just all around a more grateful person? I mean, do you find yourself more level-headed than people your age, like your friends and stuff like that?
I think it's made me really humble because in my very first semester of nursing school, I confided in my teacher, one of my instructors, about being colorblind, and she said, "Oh, just drop out. You can't do this."
What? Was she serious?
And she was very serious. And I went home and I cried about it. And then I had this moment where I was like, Jess, you're letting somebody else decide what you need. And I woke up the next morning and I wrote a list of everything that I needed in the hospital that could change, that would help me. And I just kind of learned that you can't go up to people and expect them to be like, oh, you're colorblind, let's do this, this, and this. Like, you have to come prepared with what you need and to communicate what you need, and people will help you. You can't just be like, oh, well, I'm colorblind, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
So that kind of has humbled me a lot.
So you're navigating life on your own and figuring out, I'm going to do this myself.
Yeah, nobody's going to coddle you through it at all.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a rude awakening, and we went to my graduation, and she was there, and I kind of made eye contact with her, and I was like, see, I did it.
I done did it. Mhm.
In your face.
Exactly.
Yeah. I done did it. I would have made eye contact too. Be like,
And I think she was kind of surprised. Whatever.
well, good. See, I mean, no teacher should ever tell a student you can't
I know.
do this. What's going on? Okay, yeah, well, wow.
What about that school color thing you told me about? I thought that was really cool.
Okay, so I didn't know that colleges had, like, specified colors until I went to one of my sister's TCU football games. And she was like, what are you doing? Why aren't you wearing purple? And I was like, why do you have to wear purple? And she's like, horned frogs, purple, duh. And I was like,
First of all, what is purple? Second of all, why? Like, can you please explain to me what purple is
I
and
didn't
why I
even
have to wear
know
that?
that my own school had maroon and white colors until I got to nursing school.
Oh my gosh.
And I had to wear maroon scrub pants.
And
I was
you
like,
didn't know
why?
colleges had school colors.
So what did you wear to like games and stuff like that?
Whatever I had.
Just whatever you want.
Like gray.
The opposite colors.
Gray,
the
yeah.
opposite team's colors.
I wore gray all the time.
It would be
Just
funny if she
gray.
only bought gray clothes. Like, it was just a coincidence.
I try to
That would
avoid
be
that
crazy.
Yeah.
usually.
Okay, yeah,
like
well,
a cartoon character that's colorblind that always wears
This is
gray.
my life is I'm grayscale.
have you ever like picked out an outfit for yourself and your parents be like, "What are you doing? Like
Oh,
yellow
yeah.
pants and a dark green shirt?"
Or do
Like,
they
what's going
prank
on?"
you?
My sister did a lot when we were younger. Now she's kind of gotten it out of her system.
That's good.
And
That's
she's
so
like, she'll help me now and I can text her for outfit advice. But when I was younger, she'd be like, oh, yeah, that looks amazing. And I'd go to school and everyone's like, why are you wearing like a lime green sweatshirt with like yellow pants? And
That is terrible. Oh my gosh.
But
I
I
would
mean,
never.
yeah.
That wow.
I thought
Actually,
it
I
was
might.
funny. I thought it was funny. I was never like really insecure about it after I learned that it was colorblindness. I love colorblind jokes
Yeah.
all the time.
Tell us one.
Like, people, like, making fun of her. Like,
Yeah.
she's cool about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. On the way here, there was this like rose gold colored car,
Oh
and we
my
like
God.
drove past it, and without even thinking, I was like, "Look at the color of that car! Like, who gets a car that color?" And
then-
she goes, "I know, right? I hate it." And I was like, "What?"
But then what's even
I
worse,
felt like shit.
what's worse is I'm driving and I was like, I can't tell if I hate it or if I love it. It's one of those things where I'm like,
And she just
I don't
kept
know if
going. I was like,
and I
"Lexi,
just keep
please
going and I'm
stop."
like, oh, you can't see it.
"That's so."
But that's
yeah.
most people. Like, you caught on super fast.
Thank
a lot
you.
of people still forget every single day, and I do too. It's like,
It was like in the middle of me pointing it out. I was like, I shouldn't be pointing this out. Like,
which is
this
really
is so
impressive
messed
that you
up.
caught on that fast.
But I still didn't stop myself, so it could have been faster. Here we are, though. But it was still funny.
yeah, I think
I
my
love
favorite-
how like good of a sense of humor you have about it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I think my favorite thing is when somebody's like, "Oh, can you pass me that green pen?" And instead of being a really nice person that's like, "Oh, I'm colorblind. Is it the second pen or the third pen?" I'm like, "Was that a colorblind joke?" And then they act like they just kicked my puppy or something.
Yeah, they're like,
and they're
"Oh my
like,
gosh."
"I'm so sorry."
so
And
sorry,
I'm just like,
like, I
I'll
can't.
keep the face a little bit. I'm
Just
like,
keep
"Oh,
a
it's fine. Don't worry
still
about it."
I don't know.
I'm just kidding. Wow, that is amazing. That is so funny. I love your sense of humor about it because I mean you kind of have to because I mean you can't
What
change
else are
it,
you gonna
right?
do?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
wow, that's crazy. I'm really glad that Ricky brought up the glasses things because I've seen videos about that too.
Yeah,
And
they're so touching. They cry. They see like balloons, and I'm like, "Oh, rubber." Great.
Balloons for the
rubber,
first time.
awesome. Woo. Wow. Yeah, no, I really think that that's cool that you probably still wouldn't get them though. I mean, I hear that they're really expensive, like thousands of dollars.
Nah,
like
they're
something-
300.
Oh, did you look into it already?
I legit was gonna buy some for Ryan because he has the kind of colorblind where you can put him on and actually see our kind of color.
Yeah.
And I was gonna buy him, and he was having a conversation with Jess, and he was like, you know, if someone were to offer me those glasses, I wouldn't put them on. And I was just like, and I like had it
Super
in my
awkward.
like Amazon wish list, and I like took it out. I was like, okay, never mind. I was
okay.
legit gonna buy those glasses, but like he made like a comment about how he wouldn't wear them, so I was like, I'm not about to drop.
Well, if you think
300.
about it, if you put those on, your whole world is different.
It would
Yeah.
be
You
really
know what I mean?
disorienting.
Yeah, it would be kind of traumatizing, I feel like, almost, because you're just like, my whole life, like, I had no idea, like, what was even around me the whole time.
That's
you know?
kind of like us, like realizing, like, you know, getting glasses and seeing color how it should be, and we put it on and like, let's say everything is purple, and we're like, oh, I don't like this, you know, like
Yeah,
for a
it'd be
second you're just
weird.
kind of like, this isn't what I'm used to. It's just kind of like off. Almost like you're like in a 2D world and all of a sudden everything's 3D and you're like, this is cool, but I don't know if I want to live like this forever.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
remember when I first got like my regular just pair of glasses because I just can't see very well, like in general.
Yeah.
And I got my first pair of glasses and I was like, is this what normal people see like all the time? I was like, I can read something 5 feet away from me. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I can't believe it. And even that was just like, wow, I didn't know people could see this. Like,
So it's
this
either
whole
you want to
time.
wear it all the time or you're like this one time and then never again. It's just too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that would be. I
Or
feel like
feel
you'd get a
like
headache.
It
Yeah.
would kind of ruin what I think the world actually is, and maybe it wouldn't be as pretty as I'm building it up to be, and that would be disappointing in a way.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so have you ever thought about like, have you ever wondered though, like what color looks like? Like, even though you wouldn't change it about yourself, have you ever sat there and thought like, maybe I would just want to know for like 5 minutes, you know, or
Right.
something like that?
I'm sure she.
Yeah, I think I used to think about it a lot more, but I definitely want to know if I would get the same emotions that I think I would get
Yeah.
by seeing color. Like if I saw lime green, would that upset
It's right
me?
behind you.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh my God.
That one right there.
What does the wall look like to you? Like, what does that green look like?
Like the rest of the walls.
Like the
But I
rest
mean,
of the, like a light gray, like a dark gray?
color description for yourself.
It's a mid gray.
fair enough.
Okay.
It's like
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle. It's not dark. It's not super light. It just looks like literally the rest of the walls. If I didn't see the edges of it that were hung up, I wouldn't know that it was
Oh,
any
wow.
different.
So the exit
Oh.
sign, that's red, and exit signs are, you know, obviously are red, so we all know where the exit is. So if there's an
For
emergency, we can get
emergencies,
out.
right.
Do you, is that something that worries you that you can't find the exit sign somewhere?
Not
Great
even
question.
because when I go to concerts or schools or any new building, the first thing I do is put myself as close to an exit as possible because I know that in an emergency I wouldn't be able to really see where the exit is. So I always have to identify it first thing.
Wow. Have you like taught yourself that, or do your parents teach you that?
I think it was me and my mother at the same time. Like she used to sit me and my sister down and put these news articles in front of us about all these horrible things that would happen in the world.
Yeah.
And that was just one of them that kind of stuck
Hide
with
your
me.
kids, hide your wives.
I know,
Hide
right?
your kids, hide your wife. My mom is always into like those criminal shows, so she would like she watches these like weird shows about people getting kidnapped and murdered and whatever, and she made us really aware of those things too. But I would never have even thought to like put myself near an exit if I had like a colorblind issue. Like that's so interesting.
And even if you don't, I mean, remember those fires that happen in concerts and people get trampled going out of the
Oh,
door?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of stuff freaks you out. I'm sure. I
Definitely
mean,
scary.
So,
freaks
so
everybody out.
your dad and your grandpa are colorblind.
Mhm.
Do they have like certain techniques or things that they tell you that, hey, we've lived through life, we've gone through this. These are some precautions, or these are things that we do or know, and
well, I always make fun of my dad because he's barely colorblind. He mixes up just a few colors. He can
Oh,
see
okay.
the rest, so it's just like whatever. But my grandpa was black and white colorblind, and unfortunately, he died before I was 13, so I didn't get the chance to really identify that with him.
oh,
Yeah, so I didn't even know he was colorblind until after he died,
Oh wow.
for sure. But I would love to have talked to him about like how he did things, and
Absolutely.
he studied jet propulsion and wrote a book about it.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he was a really cool guy. He would have been nice to talk about that with.
Yeah.
yeah.
So you said it's like less than 1% of people have
Less than
this
1% of colorblind people.
of colorblind people.
So that's like
even
point
more than
zero
less
zero
than
zero
us.
2% of all people. Like it's nothing.
Wow.
There's
So
like,
you've
have you ever met anybody Yeah, with that.
Other
Exactly,
than my
yeah.
grandpa, no. That's it.
Wow. So you're like a one of one as far as you know.
As far as I know, I haven't met anyone else like
That's
that.
amazing.
Well, if anyone else is grayscale colorblind,
Hit me up.
Yeah, hit us up.
She needs,
she
you know,
needs some help.
some
Or she
tips.
could help you. Yeah, I mean.
become friends.
Exactly.
I'll teach you color theory.
Yeah.
I'll teach you color theory.
That would be
Yeah,
really cool.
That's crazy. That was actually my question. I was going to see if you met anybody with your, with your condition, but I mean, obviously not. If it's literally 0.0002% of the
Yeah, it's
entire
like no
world
one.
has that, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we're really glad that we got to talk to you about this because it's very, very interesting. So thank you for being so candid with our questions.
Of course.
Okay, I have like a less serious question. Have you ever dyed your hair?
No, I'm terrified.
Yeah, because what if some like hairdresser was like, oh yeah, this looks great,
There's this one episode of The
Green.
Sweet Life of Zach and Cody that really sticks with me.
Tell us about it.
Where
I
it was
love
either
that
Zach
show.
or Cody tried to dye his hair, and he was trying to dye it auburn, but he ended up dyeing it bright, bright red. And there was like this famous line that Cole Sprouse was like, "Honey, you missed Auburn big time," or something like that. And I was like, wow, even Dylan Sprouse didn't know in that scene that he had red hair. How would I know that everything was
Oh
wrong?
yeah. Oh my
and it
gosh.
would also look the exact same to me. So why am I going to pay somebody $60?
You know what? It's more than
more
60,
gray
I'll tell you
hair.
that. For more gray hair.
For more gray
For all
hair.
you know, everyone has gray hair.
You know
Yeah,
what?
right.
At least whenever your hair does start to turn gray, you won't even tell it.
I'll be like, I'm not even aging.
Yeah, I literally look just like I did when I was
been
20.
the same.
It's always been the same. That's actually such a great perk. I had my first gray hair like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like way too young to have
that
gray
you
hair.
found.
Right. I mean, who knows? But I remember like I like whipped my hair like one way, and it
Yeah.
just like and I was like,
Hello, Alyssa.
yeah, I was like, hello. I was like, what is that? What is that? I was like so mortified. Like so mortified. I was like, I am way too young to have gray hair. And it was like, not only was it gray, it was like white. Like, which means nothing to you. God. No, I
tell
keep
the
doing
difference
it.
between gray and white. I know what
Okay,
white looks
okay,
like.
okay. So it's like, it was like white.
She actually sees white.
Yeah,
like
I
she
can see
knows.
white.
You know those
So
are
from,
white.
like,
Those are white.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So
Or
it was
yellow.
white, and I got really upset, and I pulled it out. Luckily, you won't ever have that problem, so that's a nice
Thank
perk.
God.
What other perks can you think of, versus like, I mean, that you think?
Or like some advice you could give other.
Gosh, I
people.
think I'm definitely not as obsessed with my makeup and what my makeup looks like as much as other girls are, and like my jewelry and matching my clothing perfectly. I'm just never worried about it. Everything matches. It's great.
Everything's
looks
great.
good.
Yeah.
And everyone always says that I do a good job. So I guess my advice
do.
would be don't worry about it at all, because everyone says I do a good job and I don't put any effort into matching anything ever.
And it looks great.
Yeah, you
How can I
actually
do
do look really good. So like your shoes match your shirt, and that's really all that matters.
That's-
Jeans match everything. So
Yeah, I always stick with jeans or like jumpsuits or dresses. They just match themselves.
that's true. Yeah,
great.
a whole outfit in one. You don't even have to worry about coordinating anything.
Exactly.
That's always so nice.
And I'll have my boyfriend pick my shoes for me a lot of the time. He's actually pretty good at that. So
That's good.
awesome.
like his job.
So yeah, let's talk about your boyfriend. So was that one of the first things that you like brought up to him? How long have y'all been dating?
a little bit before nursing school, so about 2 years now.
2 years. Okay, so like how far into the relationship did you let him know something like that? I mean, do you let somebody know on the first date or?
It wasn't the first date, but it wasn't a long time after that. I don't remember how I told him. I think he probably just asked me to pass some colored thing to him, and I was like, "Oh, by the way."
Oh, super
Surprise!
awkward. Yeah. I'm actually, I have no idea what you're talking
LOL,
about. I'm sure he had a million questions for you too.
Yeah. But before I do that, dating for me, I'm more attracted, and I think brown eyes and brown hair are more welcoming to me, because blue eyes, including my own, even though they're pretty dark, are a little bit creepier. Like they blend in with the whites of the eyes a little bit more.
wow.
So I've never dated a blue-eyed person. I think that'd be a little much for me.
That is
If
kinda
someone has like
creepy.
really, really light blue eyes, it just looks like a white eye to you.
And like a black
with, like
dot.
a black dot.
Oh. Oh my god, I never even see it.
Same with like
Things we don't even
super
think
blonde
about.
hair.
Yeah, it's just like a head
Yeah.
like with
It's
spikes.
just a head with spikes. Yep. So
like a you might as well date a porcupine.
Oh
What's going
my
on?
god.
So, yeah, my boyfriend Bo is super Cajun and has like the tan skin, dark eyes, dark hair. It's perfect.
Lots
so.
of contrast, so you can really see
Yeah,
everything.
that's what I really need is contrast. And most of my
Nice.
friends have features like that as well. I'm kind of thinking about it now.
You just really surround
Me?
yourself with some dark-haired people. Yeah.
I do.
You like the dark-haired ones. You know what? Stick to the dark side.
She has a
okay?
preference.
You know they say blondes have more fun. Wrong. Wrong. We have way more fun.
Completely wrong. Completely wrong.
Wow, I never even thought about that. Yeah, like how you're being attracted to people and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
What about like animals? Have you ever had like a white cat?
Oh,
or something?
I'm not gonna say I'm not a cat person because I'm just an animal person. I don't think I'd ever own a cat, but I will pet anybody's cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about a dog? Have you ever had like a white dog?
No, I've had tan dogs and black dogs.
Tan and
I
black?
don't think
Okay.
I really minded on dogs though.
Well, because dogs' eyes are pretty much mostly pupil anyway.
I know.
Right.
Like it's just all black.
I just
Yeah.
realized your teeth are always white to you. Like they're never yellow.
Yeah, everybody
Oh,
like the
good
whole
point.
Crest White Strips commercials. I'm just like, sure.
yeah,
Like
whatever.
you
yeah.
never have to be insecure, like thinking like, oh my god, my teeth are turning yellow because they're always
I
white.
have been though because I'm just like, what if I just don't know? So about 3 months ago, I
Oh.
bought some Crest White Strips, and my boyfriend was like, "Why? You
Like,
don't
it
need
doesn't
those at
make a
all." Like-
difference.
and I was like, "But what if they're yellow?" And he's like, "I would tell you, Jess."
Oh my.
Oh, that's
God.
nice. Well, at least he
He keeps it
tell you.
real.
He does. He does. He does.
That's
That's
nice.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
He
We
knows
like
what's up.
him.
Mhm.
Cool.
So,
Yeah.
I want to ask a question that I think a lot of people may be wondering.
Okay.
Do you dream in black and white, or do you see color in your dream?
Okay,
Dreams.
so I see pictures in some of my dreams, but the majority of my dreams are auditory.
What?
What?
Explain.
Weird. Yeah. Explain yourself now.
So like sometimes there'll be like pictures that pop up, but most people tell me that they dream with like motion and they can see people
Yeah,
moving.
like a movie.
I generally don't. That's happened to me before. Like I have seen it, but
Yeah.
maybe 1 or 2% of the time. Usually it's just I'm hearing things and I'm hearing like a dialogue between a few people.
Ew, that's kind of creepy.
Kind of like you're in a coma almost, and you're just like hearing all the things around you.
She's like, okay, it's really not that weird. Yeah, sorry.
It's just normal to me.
I
but-
have some pretty weird dreams. My dreams are very vivid.
Yeah.
Really?
I feel like, yeah. I mean, I've had some dreams where it's just like listen, like I'm just like hearing things, but a lot of my dreams are like,
I think everyone thinks they have vivid dreams, but like
Probably.
more vivid dreams than everybody else. But I
yeah.
think we all kind of dream pretty vividly.
I think that's crazy that it's just okay. So interesting. Have you ever had dreamt about what color might be like? I mean, because you obviously can't dream in color because you know you can't. But what have you ever thought? Like, have you ever dreamed like, oh yeah, I see in color, but in reality it was just black and white? in a
oh
dream?
yeah, like
You know what I mean?
I used to have dreams when I was a kid about understanding what color was. Like
Oh.
when people said red, I was like, "Oh yeah, red. I love red."
Oh,
Like, I'd have dreams like
That's
that.
actually kind of sad.
But I never have thought I had dreams about like actually seeing it. I just had dreams about understanding what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Wow.
Interesting. Well, thank you very much for joining us today.
course.
That was our
Thank you
last
for
question
having
for you.
me.
Is there anything else you want to say that people might be wondering?
You know, ask if people are colorblind before you want to play Uno, because if you break it out and then I say I can't play, it's a little awkward.
Great point. Great point. Well, thank you so much for having us on the show. Back to the dreaming thing. On our next episode of the Millennial Monologues podcast, we're going to talk about dreaming. We're going to talk about
lucid dreaming,
lucid dreaming,
sleepwalking, sleep talking.
Yep. We're gonna we're both gonna think of dreams that we've had separately. We're gonna research what they might mean or what websites think they mean, if they even have meanings, whatever. We're gonna talk about them on the next episode, and we'll explain why our dreams are so weird, or you know, vice versa. We'll also have that number for you guys to call. So if anyone wants to call in and tell us about a weird dream that they've had and what they think it means, feel free. But it should be a very interesting episode next week.
Or if any of you guys are sleepwalkers, sleep talkers, you have hallucinations. I have some kind of weird stories about my hallucinations because I have some pretty
That's
weird
scary.
things that I see. So we can kind of talk more about that in the next episode
Yeah.
on Tuesday. So you guys can catch us live Tuesday. It's going to be at 7 to 8 p.m. You can also watch us on YouTube, on our website, themillennialmonologues.com. On what is that podcast app? that we've been in?
Castbox, the Castbox app on your phone. You can also catch us on iTunes. If you can't catch us live, you can catch us on your own time, anytime. So log on to themillennialmonologues.com or onairmedia.com. Click on the Millennial Monologues tab, and you can catch us there. So thank you, Jess, for joining us one last time. And if anyone has any questions for her, feel free to comment below, and we will be more than happy to get back to you on those. So
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next Tuesday.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
you.